Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon and the Flat Earth Homeland. So I did a update earlier and segued into. I'd watched a video on got a really nice rock surface here. It's even grouted and everything. This all could be phony stone and aircrete insulation. But this is a nice job, beautiful job. All different sizes. By the way, you can get molds to make those. You can make your own. You can make molds. You can get whatever rocks you want and make molds, but you can buy molds. And I have some coming, so I'm going to use them on my aircrete training. I'm not going to hold this phone up because I am flipping tired, and I've been making arrangements here for some physical therapy, so. All right, so I did the video update and then segued into the flat earth thing. So the video was on a channel called Death to the Globe. That does look kind of stupid there. And it was about the phenomenon one time a year in Australia where they call it Stairway to the Moon, where the reflection of the moonlight as it rises over the surface of the water, sets, rises, makes no difference. That it makes a stairway to the moon. It looks like steppy stairs caused by the waves, over the surface of the ocean. Now, here's the point is that, because I made another video, I'll just leave it up. I'll just make this 1 and 2. Maybe 1, 2, 3 with the intro, with the update and whatnot. The problem with the scenario is, and you've seen this you're think in your mind of how many times you've seen and start watching for these, a still mirror still lake surface, or fairly still, it can be wavy, but sun's rising or sun setting, moon's rising or moon setting, and you see the light. If you're standing on the shore, you can see the light come all the way to your feet. You can see pictures, videos. You can see this in movies. Romantic scene where you can ruin the romance of the scene by saying, "Hey, that proves that the Earth is flat." So, and the reason it does is because if the Earth were a globe, it doesn't matter how big it is. I don't care. That's one of the things they say. Well, it's really big. You can't see the curvature. No, science dictates the simple, unalterable, eternal, immutable, unchangeable, hard written in stone fact, law, capital L, capital A, capital W law, not theory, not gravity, not theory like relativity, not theory like evolution, law, that the angle of reflection equals the angle of incidence. In other words, you can test this for yourself. Take a mirror, lay it down on the table in front of you, and have a surface behind you that you can see. You can measure it. Put a protractor on your flashlight and then a protractor on the beam coming off of the mirror up to the wall. And if you shine the light downward at a 45-degree angle, it comes off of the mirror at a 45-degree angle. If you shine the light at a 1-degree angle, it comes off of the mirror at a 1-degree angle. There is no altering this fact. It is a hardcore, simple, immutable, unchangeable, easily proven, eternal law. Light reflects off of a surface at the same angle as it incidentally strikes it. Okay? So here is the problem with these pictures. The fact is that if the Earth were a globe, does not matter how, 25,000, doesn't make any difference. If it was 50,000 miles around, wouldn't make any difference. 100,000 miles around, it wouldn't make any difference. You would not observe that phenomenon, because at every case and point where the light strikes that surface, it would reflect off of that surface at the same point at an infinity of points. In other words, the sun, if the Earth were a globe, the sun would be striking it at a completely unlimited, a completely limitless, a completely numberless points. But at every single one of those points, it would reflect off of that point at the same angle that it struck the point at. Okay? Simple, provable, demonstrable, videoable, repeatable law. Period. Say it with me, class. The angle of reflection equals the angle of incidence. Okay? Learned it in physics, Physics 101. Real simple. Science ignores it. Science says it's not true. Well, that's what I'm saying. This is so interesting because this video channel is titled Globe is Dead. And I get on there and I start writing. I'm watching this video, and he's talking about how close the moon is. This shows how close the moon is, and I'm like, okay, fine. It also proves the bigger question, not how close is the moon, but how flat is the Earth? How flat is the water? Not how close it is, but how flat the Earth is. And then it just struck me that, everybody's maybe some of you have seen the movie God is Dead. God's not dead. It's got the Newsboys in it, and Mr. Hercules, what the heck his name is. I'm fuzzy because I'm not all here because of my weekend, long busy weekend, but I'll think of it in a minute maybe. But anyway, yeah, a really famous guy that played Hercules. Well, he's in it. He plays an atheist. Okay. Now, once again, I want to point out, how many atheists do you know? Lifelong atheists, 40-year term long atheists who suddenly come to believe in God and believe in the Bible because they believe in the globe. No, the globe is atheism. The globe equals atheism. That is what was used to kill God. That's what I'm saying. Einstein proved, quote unquote, with his theory of relativity, he posited the possibility that the Earth, that it's relative. The Earth is, and he said you can't tell whether the Earth's moving or whether the universe is moving. He said that flat out. He knew the truth. He knew that he was concocting something that would blow smoke up the world's ass. Okay, that's what the theory of relativity is, and that is all it is: smoke and mirrors. Well, here I'm going to use a mirror to kill it. This kills the theory of relativity. You can take a playing card, a business card, cover it with shiny aluminum foil, find a flexible mirror, use a Mylar balloon, which I love. That's a great idea, as I was talking in the other video. Get a Mylar balloon. It's flat when you buy it, right? All right. Lay it on a table. Do this experiment. Check your angle of incidence. Check it multiple times. Put a little bit of air in it so it's now domed a little bit, at least a little bit. Make it as little as you want. Do your experiment. You do not have light shining to the surface at the other side of the balloon, period, end of story. Ain't gonna happen. Can't happen. Physically impossible. Physics Impossible 101. Physics 101 dictates by this immutable law. It's a law. Physics did not come up with the law, didn't invent the law, didn't theorize it and prove it. It's just a law. It's an observable law. Does not change, never will change, never has changed. But we have been blind to this because we have been so thoroughly freaking brainwashed. Well, this is going to kill it. This kills it. So Nietzsche, atheist philosopher, said, God is dead, science killed him. The person that put the last nail, quote unquote, in God's coffin was Einstein, because the entire scientific world understood the Michelson-Morley experiment. They understood Sagnat's experiment. They understood Airy's failure. They understood that science had now proven several hundred times that the Earth was not moving in space, zero velocity. And they were in an absolute panic. Einstein came up with a theory of relativity. Suddenly you think, all is well. God is dead. Science killed him. Einstein killed God. Well, guess what? I'm pretty sure that God has killed Einstein by now. But, and Nietzsche too, obviously. And Charles Darwin and Karl Marx. Okay? Darwin sent Karl Marx his Origin of the Species, and 17 long years went by as Origin of the Species and atheism fermented in the mind, the evil, putrid mind of Karl Marx. And what came out of that was Das Kapital and communism. And now you have atheistic communism, not just atheistic evolution, but atheistic communism, and the deaths of millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of human beings around this planet, slaughtered, skulls piled to the sky. bones filling rivers in Cambodia, Republic of Khmer. And let me tell you, next time somebody asks you, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? Who cares if the earth is a pyramid? Maybe it's a cube. Maybe it's a pentagon. Maybe it's a globe. Maybe it's flat. Who cares? What difference does it make? I could use some French here. If you're that stupid as to say that and to not understand that atheism has murdered, how many millions of Christians, Christian farmers in the Ukraine were murdered by Stalin? Holodomor. Look it up. Holomodor. Holodomor. It means the extinction of a people by forced starvation. How many people did Lenin kill? How many people did Stalin kill? How many people did Pol Pot kill? 3 million in 3 months. Look it up. Watch the movie The Killing Fields. What difference does it make? They wouldn't exist. Communism would not exist. Atheism would not exist. Evolution would have never existed if it weren't for the globe. That is what allowed them to be and allowed those books to be written. Origin of the Species, Das Kapital, and the writings of Mao Zedong, Ho Chi Minh, and everybody else. Okay? It makes a huge difference. It's murdered probably 200, 300, 500 million people over the last few years. Just the last few years. Okay. So you do that experiment, show it to people, measure, make your measurements, actually do it. And then put some air in that balloon, curve that little card, bend that mirror. You don't have it. The only place that light reflected from a light source as such as the sun or the sun or the moon, rising or setting doesn't make any difference. The only way that can happen is on a flat surface. And it doesn't matter how big the waves are, it still happens because the light is hitting waves and water as its level. All right? It still works. All right? So, la-di-da, I'm going to pause it. All right, so I'm going to finish up. Here it is. Nietzsche said, God is dead, science killed him. Well, I say, Nietzsche's dead, God killed him. No. Globe is dead. Science killed him. I like to say it that way, you know. God is dead, science killed him. Well, globe is dead, science killed him. Finally, it's taken a long time for us to wake up and see this. I mean, it's just, as much basic science as I had, it blows me away. Watch Brian Mullins. He's a physics professor. Watch him. He's got a thing on how come if you're flying from Quito, Ecuador, over to Singapore, over the North Pole, you start out at 1,000 miles an hour, 1,046 miles an hour, but suddenly, as you travel, the circumference of the Earth is getting less, so you're going slower. Your plane has to slow down to keep pace with the Earth. When you're at the North Pole, you're not moving at all. So anyway, that's it. So just watch, think about this. Watch for instances where you can see this in a movie, in a picture, artist painting. Everybody's got to testify to it. Yeah, I've seen that. And then show them the experiment. You can sit a globe head right across the table from you and show them this, and it will prove conclusively that their belief is wrong. So, all right. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. If you're listening to this, you are the remnant. And don't forget Flat Earth Homelands. And this is what it's about. This is Jerry Diamond with Flat Earth Homeland. Kill the globe. Oh, the globe is dead. Goodbye.